Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Song Theory. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. Today guys, we're talking about a subject that I'm surprised I haven't touched on before, and that's actually going to be Takashi 6ix9ine. If you haven't heard about him, something's wrong with you because he's everywhere now. And this particular artist is, I think at the time, right now he's 21 years old. He has a daughter, and for some reason rainbows is his thing. Now, once again, if you don't know who Takashi is, Google him first of all. He's an interesting character. Check out his music videos. I remember him coming up and seeing a few of his videos around 18, 19 years old, when he was about 18 or 19 years old, and watching him just kind of being a little wild. And I always thought to myself, man, this guy's a little crazy. What's his deal? But then I realized that Takashi 6ix9ine is probably the greatest internet marketer that I've ever seen, ever. Now, this is not to say that there aren't other musicians and performers who are not also really good at leveraging social media. There are plenty, but there's something about Takashi 6ix9ine that really gets me interested. Now, I also have mentioned before that there's a bunch of artists that do this. You have Childish Gambino is actually really great at leveraging the internet. I feel like other artists such as probably Trippie Redd, XXX was really good at doing it. But Takashi is really, I guess the way to explain it would be like this. He does some of the most outrageous stuff, pisses everybody off, says the wrong thing all the time, but he knows this, okay? And the fact that he knows it just shows you that there's a strategy behind what he's doing, and his label loves it. I mean, no matter what you say about this guy, he's been on the charts for basically every song he's made so far. And that's, you can't say much about that. I mean, it's just facts, right? Now, I'm not saying that I necessarily enjoy his music. In fact, I feel like he's a much angrier, much shorter, and younger DMX. I just feel as though that there's a limit to which someone can do that and be in that kind of sphere of presence on social media. Eventually, I am afraid that he's going to piss the wrong person off and somebody will retaliate against him. But one of the biggest things about him is that he feels as though he's invincible. And I think there's something about that, especially nowadays in 21st century. Being invincible on social media makes people feel good. And when they watch your content, they watch you as a personality, they feel, I think they feel as though you're somewhat of a god. And I think that's what people have been trying to say to him, that he's not. He's not invincible. He is not bulletproof. And people are afraid, just like XXX, Tupac, Biggie, all of these great artists who really thought they had it going on, and they did. They ended up finding out very quickly through just a couple of gunshots that they were not invincible. And if you haven't seen the interview with The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God and of course, the whole Breakfast Club crew, and I'm gonna put a link in the description. Take a look at that, because that interview kind of shows you his mindset. If there's any interview you watch about how 6ix9ine feels about who he is and what his life is all about, that video should really show you a good window into his soul. And once again, what concerns me is not the fact that he is a entertainer. That's what he's supposed to do. It's not the fact that he's he's growing to be such a large influencer over these kids, between the ages of like 13 and 20. The thing that I'm most concerned about is the idea that he thinks he can say whatever he wants and do whatever he wants, and that he is untouchable. And that kind of behavior is really unsettling. I'll go back to Tupac for a second. Tupac Shakur back in the 90s was so adamant about black empowerment and making sure to educate the people and getting gang violence off the streets. That was, of course, until he was attacked by a police officer and he was taken to jail for jaywalking. And there's a whole story about that. You can take a look. But after he got beat up by that cop, he came out the other side an angry, very hostile person. And at that point, he didn't care about anyone's feelings or what he said. And he started spouting off about how he's such a great rapper and he does this and that. And then, of course, back in the 90s, everyone knew hip-hop was a volatile place because, man, I mean, many people were harmed and a lot of crews were hurt in drive-bys and such. And he didn't care. He was such a big proponent of power and that he was invincible and he was dope, that couldn't nobody touch him and his thug life. Unfortunately, he eventually did get touched, and he got shot a couple times, but he survived. So, of course, you know, after surviving some gunshots, you think, man, I'm super invincible now. Can't nobody touch me for sure. I didn't even die. He was so confident about not dying that he went out, and that he actually tempted the people that shot him. In a newscast, he said, try it again. This guy actually went on the news and told the people that shot at him and shot him to do it again. He said, I bet y'all can't kill me. He was all over the place. And I mean, as you all know, you don't have to be a music fan to know that Tupac did eventually die after getting shot again. So the point I'm making is nobody's invincible. And I think that because of Takashi's approach to social media and his approach with his mindset about his invincibility and how no one can touch him and no one's coming at his gangster, that people love that kind of stuff and they're eating it up. They're eating up the controversy about his sexual misconduct. People are all over the fact that this guy wears rainbows all over him, but somehow he's not gay. If you don't understand that, basically the rainbow flag represents pride in the gay LGBT community, and he totes this around often. I mean, rainbow hair, rainbow grill, I mean, rainbow everything, but he doesn't actually represent the LGBT community. I mean, there's just so many things people are mad at him about that it just is going to pile up eventually, and I'm afraid that maybe one day he might find out the hard way that he's not invincible. But as for right now, he is the greatest internet marketer I've ever seen before, and I do that professionally, and I think he's probably the best one I've seen. His attitude, the way he chases clout, the way that he's just been able to leverage his popularity and funnel it to all of his music. And I think he's doing a great job. If there is a course on internet marketing and social media leveraging, this guy would be on the chapter's front page. I'm telling you, he's just so good at it. He's good at pissing people off. He's good at making people fans of him just because he is not down for all of that talk. Well, he's not down for action either, let's be honest, but he's not down for all of that, arguing back and forth. He's just going to say whatever he wants and piss you off. And this is actually why I believe Takashi 6ix9ine is not that far away from Donald Trump. See, these two gentlemen actually do the same thing. They incite hatred, they incite fear, and they make people very upset with the things that they say. Takashi 6ix9ine is actually not too far away from Donald Trump's method of trying to get people's attention. In fact, people have been doing it for decades. This is not new, but looking at this generation and how much they hate Donald Trump is really interesting, that they'll look at someone like Takashi 6ix9ine and see him as a role model. I just find that to be kind of weird and a little backwards. But you guys tell me what you think. Do you think Takashi 6ix9ine is a great internet marketer and social media leverager? Do you also think that maybe he has a lot of similarities with Donald Trump? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for all the support you've given to this channel. We're growing very fast and I appreciate it. There's some great things coming out soon. You guys are going to love it. And once again, in the description below, there is a link to a free trial to Amazon Music. Guys, go click on it. You'll be helping the channel out and you'll be helping yourselves out with some great music. Anyway, guys, have a great day and a better tomorrow. God bless. I'll see you all later.